Is this the start of something beautiful in the LPL Spring Split? Welcome back to Week 1, day number 3 here. My name is Asterix, and I have got Raz right next to me after what was a surprising start for Vici Gaming.
You know, I get asked this question a lot. What the hell is the point of watching the LPL? Like, it was like, Raz, what are you doing over there? You could be watching, like, North American VODs, and I do, but I just don't sleep. But, like,
Okay.
but like, for me, watching the developmental league means you're watching the future of the LPL. If you're watching a player like Southwind and Puff playing Red Wolf Gaming and knowing the story of them, like how confident they were when they faced like Snake and Demacia Cup, and you're hearing their stories essentially develop, you finally get that payoff, which is today. Fresh faces, day one. You play your game. 100% Southwind, baby. MVP on his first series in the LPL.
This bottom lane of Vici Gaming is all we could talk about all game long. Now, granted, the rest of the team came together like a perfectly timed quiche out of the oven, but Southwind was a part of all of it.
Yeah, because when this fight started, remember we sung the praises of Coach Long about what the team composition brought. Because if you look to the picture, the portrait above man of the match, it's not just the Rakan, it's Zaya and Rakan. That's what the 2v2 really brought them. And if you combine it with the rest of the squad, it was the Galio and Jarvan being able to start a lot of the fights, which propelled them to their lead.
Let's talk a little bit about maybe Suning's bottom lane, though. SMLZ and Sword Art early, off to a very bad
bad start, yeah.
What else, how else can I put it? It was just not what Suning wanted. They're a super team, and they just didn't perform like one.
Yes, a lot of it just was based off the laning phase. Our initial expectation was just the fact that they would be able to handle the lanes well. Shao is a great laner. Sword Art is a great laner. Yeah. So SMLZ has had problems in laning phase in the past, but a lot of that you can cast away to just the excuse of you didn't have the support. You had a rookie support last time around. Your first time into the LPL, you didn't have a real support. And when you had 5, your laning phase was fine. So it should be like that, right? And immediately problems occur. In fact, the problems occur in Demacia Cup too. So for SMLZ, he actually just needs to start having good lanes, or else the whole sneaky laning meme actually now goes to him.
Because as you said before, it was about the top side of the map for Suning originally. But then with all this pressure bot, Hacker was forced to make a response and look for these counter ganks there against Ike's, who just had the time of his life. He was even looking to the top side of the map, but all eyes were drawn to the bottom.
Yeah, the bottom side of the map, playing through Dragon. Take a look at how quickly Hacker goes down, because it was the taunt, the lockdown from Jay that gets it done. But Sword Art doesn't back down. The rest of Suning think they can do something, and this is the major concern. What is the actual call here? Because I've seen this a lot of the time, and it's usually no calls happening, dilly-dallying, saying maybe we can do something, because we can't go back to lanes and just farm, right? And that's the usual issues you have when teams don't have really good shot calling or synergy. Is that when Hacker goes down, who's the really communicative person, then you have nothing else. And so it's Vici being able to take advantage of that, and it's Puff and Southwind that actually just propels forward. You saw Jaliza playing really well in his Renekton in the side. He was the first one to rotate. I thought that overall, they played. That was the first play that they really made in that game that was a standout.
It was a very defining moment as well when you're getting sandwiched like that, rather than going back and forth and the team not really coming together. They make one move and they make it quickly, which is what mattered at the end of the day. So many dragons picked up as well, so much bottom side control, and maybe it started with that early scuttle contention there that Ike's just comes in and takes it away.
It could have been. I think, remember, we had that discussion coming into the game, that it was really like, who takes control of the scuttle early? Sure, but I still think that Ike's was having problems because he was seen there, right? Yeah. Suddenly he can't impact bottom lane if Lee Sin knows he's going to be bottom lane. He goes top lane. Suddenly he can't really go anywhere near the top lane when Urgot puts a ward down, and when Scuttle Crab top side was actually immediately taken away by Lee Sin. So I thought that Suning's game plan first 5 minutes was excellent to being able to push Ike's away from the lanes. It was just the lanes themselves that were failing, specifically bottom lane, that gave Ike's that option.
Well, coming back onto stage, Suning, they need a new plan. The pick and ban phase is what we also talked about extensively, and how it went for Suning. A change there because the first 3 picks came out, and we're saying, how do you make this work, Suning?
Yeah, usually I'm not a fan of Victor and Tom Kench, just because it puts a lot of pressure on the rest of the map to give you, engage. And Urgot is a mainstay top laner, so then you don't have engage from top lane primarily. Then you're expecting your jungler to go on the Sejuani, and I'm never expecting Hacker to pick Sejuani. So that's where my questions initially start. I think that SMLZ will not play Victor again coming into Game 2.
Ezreal was banned away. A lot of AD carries targeted towards SMLZ. We praised his champion pool coming into that first game, but maybe picking up the Victor again wasn't to be highlighted. Instead, now in Game 2, we ask what will be open and available for him this time around. Yeah,
I think that he does have a whole host of AD carries to go back to, even, let's say, the Jhin that he's been known for if he's trying to pick for laning phase. Misfortune has been something that he's dabbled in the past as well. These are all out of meta picks. So the real question is if he's just going to pick the Ezreal in the first phase, or if he's once again going to allow it to drop into second phase where he's going to go to these key, I'd say, niche picks.
Because something like Kalista was open and available for SMLZ to pick up, maybe not suiting more of his style.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, you saying that, like, I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I couldn't hope. Just looking at long smiling face is something that I
okay.
Like, he hasn't been smiling even when he has been playing the game. When he was playing top lane for Vici, he was just upset 100% of the time. So this first victory working out so well for Vici Gaming and for Long to witness it, I'm just saying, man, this is your moment of happiness. Let's just hope that they could take home the 2 victories. I'm actually immediately becoming biased. Let me tell you, I haven't seen Vici take a win in so damn long. I want this drought to end. Please, por favor, please.
We've seen Game 3s out of Vici, but we've seen them force it after the first and excruciating time. This time they start off with the game. Now, will it be a trend? Will this be the new Vici? Or was it one game where they caught Suning by surprise?
Now, the reason why people are holding on that expectation of old Vici is because you never want to just say that the team's completely changed. But if you look at their roster, literally everyone has changed. Everyone has changed, including the coaching staff. So that really is a key indicator that you shouldn't expect the same old with Vici. At least question their, how green are they? Are they ready and experienced for play? Game 1 has emphatically answered that question.
Well, we go into draft again for Game 2. There are some unusual bans, but not really after what you just saw. The Rakan is the first takeaway for Suning, followed by the Zoe they played last game.
Yeah, and Suning have first pick here. That's the most important thing. I think they'll just go for Galio first pick. Ooh, there we go. Vici banning that away means that is not a strategy any longer. Vici have to play a lot harder now to push out these team fights.
Do we see the Urgot again as a priority, or maybe shifting towards something like the Akali? Lissandra instead, the Ice Queen herself.
We will see Urgot being played this game, I will say immediately. The only way we won't see her is because Vici doesn't want to play the matchup top lane. They don't want to play Urgot versus Lissandra. That works well for Lissandra, even in team fights. And then maybe Jay doesn't want to play Urgot because that's limits his mobility in the early laning phase.
Maybe Jay wants to jump on something like an assassin.
Yeah, maybe. I know that the Akali is still available. Now, the issue of picking an assassin into Lissandra is because you do get locked down. We saw what happened when we saw the Lissandra into Akali in Worlds. That was one major issue. You saw Caps getting, basically hit on top of his head by a rookie. You saw the same thing out of Maple as well when he was going up against a lot of mid laners when he picked Akali. It's just a rough matchup.
It really is. So you don't want to take that just yet. You're opting for the bottom lane, and Puff picks up Lucian. You want to win lane again. This is how you start. You saw the sign before, but we're still looking bot.
I wonder if Vici Gaming is going to end their first phase with a Thresh pick. I mean, looking at the Southwind's champion pool, he is such an engage-heavy champion. Like, the fact that they took away his Rakan, they probably don't know that he plays Alistar as well, that has above 50% win rate. The Thresh that he is styling on. So those are the 2 picks that I'm looking for Vici Gaming.
The Thresh was banned away by Suning in game number 1. Have they let this slip? It was the Urgot picked up, though, for Suning. Xiao Ao going to debut again on that pick, unless Maple shifts away and it's a Lissandra top.
Ooh.
What are we seeing in the bottom lane? The Mad Moo Cow.
You have to pick it away. I mean, not only is Sword Art an exceptional Alistar, it is just busted on this patch, and Southwind is just frothing at the mouth. He wants that Alistar. Now, question for Southwind, he can go to a Braum pick. Braum Lucian is a great lane. Another one would just be perhaps Tahm Kench, but you're already seeing being hovered. Locks it in.
Okay, so Braum Lucian, a staple matchup. Back a couple of years ago, we saw and abused heavily.
And it's just such a good lane into Alistar, too. The problem with Alistar is when he goes in, the follow-up is important, right? What is the follow-up if you're going into double-tap Lucian with Braum passive? The AD carry most of the time doesn't want to get in and touch that. So immediately Vici taking away the Ezreal, and I expect, let's say, a Caitlyn. Because if you take away the range from Suning Gaming, then the issue is now how are they going to follow up in a lane against the Braum Lucian?
Changing coaching stuff, you can see smarter drafting coming through from Vici.
Kai'Sa
instead. So the Caitlyn is up and available if Suning choose to pick it up. They're banning away junglers now, Raz. They think Ike's might have jumped on the Sejuani. That's not going to be the case. Is it the Jarvan that gets taken away or another jungler like the Lee Sin?
Yeah, I would say Jarvan would be a safe bet here because there's already pretty hefty engage from the Scion, but it's not clear. There's not that clear go button that right now Suning has to just push onto Vici. The Vladimir is surprising. I know that Jay is a good Vladimir player, so you could tell that they've looked into his match history, but I wouldn't expect it with how desperately Vici needs to engage on their squad.
Talked a lot about assassins here for Jay. We sound like a broken record. We might not be looking at that just yet. The Camille in the jungle, Ike's played a crucial role for Vici in game number 1, and he's going to do the same this game too.
Level 2 Camille gank. I mean, that's something we've seen quite frequently, and it also holds their mid lane counter pick, so they can go for an assassin immediately afterwards. He just wants to see what he's dealing with. Yeah, lock it in. SMLZ, man. If he feels like he's being threatened too much in lane, he's just going to say, all right, spell shield me. Like,
let's go.
It's like, if you can't help me, I'll do it myself.
Well, SMLZ, another pick in the champion pool. The final one, though, has our eyes looking. What is Hacker going to play in this potentially last game for the Suning Super Team?
When he came into the league, it was the Kha'Zix that really brought him in. People knew Hacker for his Kha'Zix play because that was how he was able to immediately impact that mid lane gank. Him knowing that he's going up against Camille is a little bit of a worry because Camille does have her early armor shield that she has, and of course the ability to stun you mid-air. Like all of that Kha'Zix has to worry about, but if he comes in later in a counter gank per se, that's a lot of burst damage that Camille can't defend against.
The heat-seeking legs, yeah.
Yeah, the 2v2 is going to be super important here, just based off of that mid lane. And I'm already expecting Lissandra to be mid, so Lissandra and Kha'Zix is a hell of a pair.
Against a Camille and a Syndra, which Jay slams in. Suning this time look like they have a clear goal in mind. This is a very different draft phase, and it's good to see they've recovered from what game 1 was.
And here's the thing, I like what Suning has. This is a great comp. Like, right now, Vici Gaming's idea for their composition is pick one person and see if they can blow them up with Lucian coming in, Braum passive as well, and you can get the finisher with the Syndra ultimate. But can you get SMLZ Sivir? The spell shield's going to be hard to get past. Alistar has ultimate, immediately be able to cleanse a lot of that issue. And then you have the Lissandra ulti. It's actually so difficult to be able to nail and pin down one member on Suning's roster.
Unless they can get to them pre-6. The Camille early ganks with a Syndra in the mid lane. There is so much potential for Vici Gaming to snowball ahead like they did before, but Suning have closed a lot of those gaps moving into game number 2. It's not a question anymore how Suning are going to use this draft. It's a question of can they beat Vici Gaming? It may be their own game.
Look, you're right about that because I'm getting into the trap of going too holistic about the compositions. Look. I'm saying this composition should beat this composition. Like, the reason why they lost the last game wasn't about comp. It was about the laning phase. They got smashed in lane from 2 minutes onwards. So, right now, honestly, just got to focus on the Lucian and Braum. Lucian and Braum is calling out to the enemy team that we could take you in lane. And we could just immediately, if we isolating you, if it's 2v2, no jungler interaction, no mid laner coming up here, that we can beat SMLZ and Sword Art, and that's a hell of a statement to make.
Which ability do you spell shield? The Winter's Bite, the Glacial Fissure. There is so much here to utilize in that bottom lane. Will attentions be diverted down there once again? Well, this time, with clear communication, it's probably going to happen once more.
Remember the last game, it was the Tahm Kench that really did it for them. Like, the Tahm Kench on Suning made it so a lot of the skirmishes and fights lasted so much longer. Now you're on the Alistar. That is actually much easier to take down. Pre-6, that's so much easier to gank now. So if I am Vici, suddenly, last strategy, a little bit more viable. You can just head down bottom lane. Ike's in the previous game was darting top lane, looking bottom lane. His coach picked him a composition to go top early, but his dual lane was doing that well, so he's like, I might as well join. I think this game immediately he's going to be looking towards that bottom lane to see if he can impact.
Remember, he got spotted out earlier as well. Suning had his number at one point, but there were no moves to access his jungle. There were no moves to get in the face of Vici Gaming. A fresh roster. We're not looking at Audi. We're not looking at Caveman. We're not getting disappointed by this roster. Yes, I know I'm diving head first, but it's good to see it at this point.
Who do you like? Because I know I was on Southwind for quite some time. I'm going to take Southwind away from you. Which one on this team are you really liking so far?
I like Jay.
Yeah, Jay?
I like Jay. I think Jay, for me, was such a standout amongst it. He's playing Galio, and it looks so simple, but it's really not. The execution was there, which is what I like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I always like to see it. It always feels like someone's getting contained whenever they play Galio. It's like they're in a miniature prison.
Yeah.
But people who can make Galio stand out are the type of player you want to watch more often, because Rookie, I know he started out by playing everyone else, but when he plays Galio, when you see his team fights and Rift Rivals in the Galio pick, when you see his Galio pick at Worlds as well, he was so insane, actually, being able to pick constant double stuns, taunts, triple taunts. Like, the eye in team fights, the focus that he has there really accentuates the champion's kit. So I want to see this game. He's going to be on the Syndra. Jay's got him the Syndra pick. I want to see what he can do really early on against Maple and hell, FLICKR when he joins in.
You asked the question, who can he pick off? Well, if Suning aren't careful, it's going to be all of them. Just like game number 1. Let's jump in and see if Vici Gaming start their legacy. They believe again.
It's a lot of people cheering for Vici. We didn't hear that loud of a chant last year, but something changed.
Flip-floppers, I reckon.
I mean, I'm the flip-flopper. I'm the guy who's going to be changing day to day, but it feels like off-season they saw something. They saw something. Coach Long, maybe his handsome face on stage was like, nah, I'm going to have to be Vici fan now. I can see that. I agree with that.
You're going to have to.
Oh, is that the sneaky skin? I think so.
Maybe not as attractive as the sneaky version.
Yeah. They need to update that skin, in my opinion.
Well, pretty standard rune set though across the board. I say that sometimes press the attack turns into fleet if you're a Lucian, but press is always better with the double tap.
Ooh,
this happens again.
Good trade here.
Except a little bit different. Maple missing the last shot there with the orb down onto Maple. Does not connect.
Well, Lissandra should be able to take control really early on. Of course, doesn't have to worry too much about mana, especially in a meta where I talk about the rune changes so much, but it's really helped a lot of people who are starving in the mana department. Because suddenly, if you're not tied to your runes stats any longer, you're still getting the 20 AP. Now you can get sustain in the inspiration tree. So Lissandra is really better off because of that. So we're seeing a lot more mid lane Lissandra than in the past at Worlds, like when we saw FLICKR on the top lane Lissandra.
Yeah, JLL doesn't really suit his playstyle at the moment as well. He's been picking up, well, speak of the devil, Jay, that was actually a very nice stun. Ike's jumping into the enemy's jungle early. And the contestant around Scuttle isn't going to happen this time. Ike's opted into a bit of vertical jungling.
Yep, this is my favorite time of day. You see, Southwind and Puff actually just getting him out of here.
This is great. Hey. Hacker has to flash. Southwind and Puff just come up, and that's my Scuttle. Thank you very much.
It was vertical jungling at one point, but they were like, nah, we're taking the entire damn thing. We have top lane, blue buff, Scuttle Crab, and our dual lane that's already pushed up the lane is now taking the Scuttle Crab themselves. Hacker is so screwed. He doesn't have the experience, and now he has to actually play internally to get some experience back.
He might have to pop down bottom lane. There is a bit of excess damage coming from SMLZ, so at least this time it looks a lot more even, and there's no early summoners burnt.
And honestly, at this point, Southwind and Puff should feel pretty comfortable. They should continuously push out this lane, and what Ike's needs to do, take your blue buff, take Grom, go top to get Raptors and Krugs, and you are so far ahead of Kacker.
That's a heal just forced out in the bottom lane. The triple buff now onto Ike's, but Hacker's just shown on this ward. Vici Gaming can back away and waste a bit of time at the Car 6.
Yeah, waste his time. You can already see that Ike's is not going to walk there. He's going to take his Grump like I mentioned, because at this point in time, Ike's has just completely gone over the experience that Hacker has. Hacker has to now focus on his own farming. But it might be difficult if Maple is taking this much damage.
I mean, Jay has a 3-minute blue buff because of this triple buff. That's not what you want against a Syndra at the moment.
Yeah, you definitely don't. She can just start throwing abilities at you randomly. Throw your own minions at you. She has Airy too, so it's just a couple damage. This point in time, it's actually really hard for Suning. Losing out in the early game last time around, this time it's actually difficult to pick your spots. If I'm Hacker and you are that behind in experience and you have to be starting to focus on your own farm, there is a little bit of a hunch. You say, hey, you know what, maybe I can bring at least one lane back, but I don't think it's going to be Jay. Double man knock up again.
See engage the door up for Southwind, but he's run out of matter. The flash might have to come away. Sword Art stuns, but no follow-up from SMLZ. The bottom lane of Vici Gaming, not as successful as maybe the first game or even as it should be just yet.
Yeah, but it's just Sword Art now styling on his pick, right? He really wanted to come back because after last game, that was embarrassing for his opinion. So now in game 2, he gets his Alistar, two-man knockups to push Puff and Southwind out of lane. And what is like, that's a bad matchup for Sword Art and SMLZ, but he's making it work from just being able to play that damn well.
Sword Art on Alistair right now has been a priority pick, but in this series so far, wasn't really hovered over. Southwind will come back to the lane after backing away. There's a double longsword in both AD carries' hands. It's probably going to make a bigger difference at the moment to Puff.
Yeah, both of them. Or at least Lucian wants to go towards the Blade of the Rune King. You know, SMLZ does want to go towards the Storm Razor, so it makes sense on their end that they're just trying to pick up their long swords to get to that point. What's usually important about this time is really finding how much damage SMLZ needs to just start mindlessly shoving the wave. In the past, it's really just been, hey, can you stay long enough in lane to get the BF sword? If so, then you're great. You're fine. You don't actually have to worry about the trading patterns that a lot of lanes have if you can just make it so they have to fight the wave that you're just consistently shoving with the Ricochet. I don't think he's gone past that point. Getting double longsword isn't exactly it. That being said, you already see Vision being put in the red side jungle. I mean, they're ready to just hop on this lane at any moment.
At least Hacker was able to go out to the Scuttle Crab and take it away. Ike's has been looking for a gank, but he's just started up the Dragon with full vision from this Scuttle Crab. Southwind walking past as well, and Hacker might just come for the challenge.
You know, I always forget about the Dragon RNG. Infernal Dragon as your first one, 10%. Got that buff in preseason. So this is insane. You have to contest it. And you are not sure what the next one's going to be either. Are you serious, Sword Art?
Hacker's going to make the engage. Puff is now in so much trouble. Hacker's here. They might have to get off the Dragon. They don't help him. It's first blood. In comes Jay, but Maple's there too. Can they get the Dragon? He can't before he's deleted. And a big heads-up play from Suning to secure the Dragon on top of it.
That was so beautiful from Sword Art. That was the third time in a row he got a two-man knockup from his headbutt pulverizer. Southwind and Puff really have to spread out in this lane so this doesn't keep happening, because what that costed was not only the life of Puff, but the Dragon as well. All of that hard work that they put in. Boom, boom. Like, that's insane. 2 auto attacks on Puff. He flashes out too, and of course, even if you flash out, you ain't getting out. There's no way you're leaving them. So you can see Ix, he's already put in that bad position. Didn't know that Maple was going to be rotating as well. That's the Dragon. That's the life of Puff. That is his flash. Suddenly, the entire discussion about how lanes should be poor for Suning just based off of mid lane trade and bottom lane composition has changed completely.
Comes off that one Scuttle Crab. There was no contention there from Vici Gaming to the bottom side of the map. And even after seeing Hacker down on the bottom side, they choose to ignore it and take the Dragon anyway. They were feeling confident down there, and it hurts them.
And take a look at this. I mean, I don't know if this gank is going to work out. Here we go.
Well, it needs to. Onto Maple. Scatter the weak, not used. He just walks out of there.
He was just in range, didn't want to expend flash to make it 100%. So he took the risk, didn't want to completely commit. Of course, you look back and say, maybe I should use flash, but I think it was the right call. You don't want to use flash when you feel like you have the assured stun.
Well, Jay actually used his flash, so Hacker is right in coming to this mid lane. Jay doesn't have enough mana for the combo of Scatter the Weak. He has to be careful. They're still trying to take the bottom lane, though. Not much they can do now. SMLZ, he'll back soon with that BF sword. Where does it go from here? Hacker into the top side. He will be spotted out by a ward shortly, but he's waiting it out. There's Expires.
There's no ulti on Trelizzi either, so he used that to get into lane. Ooh, nice spell shield, but he's taking a lot of damage.
Culling comes out onto Sword Art. This is a lot of damage to deal with. Puff, the flash forward from Southwind. Exactly what the bottom lane needs.
There we go. Come back into it. They picked a great laning phase for them because they were confident they can get the solo kill, and they finally netted.
They're still onto the top side of the map, so split focus now for Suning as their bottom lane drops. SMLZ will be able to catch the wave.
He put the ward down because he was concerned about a dive. This was super risky for him to come back into the lane. Sure, he was chugging a potion, but at the time he was half HP. Jay!
Under a bit of scrutiny now, ultimate down. Jay gets it onto Hacker. Here comes Southwind, the support. Wants to take down the Kha'Zix. Not meant to be.
So close. You know, Hacker just got up out of there. I'm always concerned about how much damage the towers end up doing. They haven't capped just yet. 15 minutes they end up capping full their AD. That was a lot, but still. Found the window. Got the kill on a Jay. Doesn't have flash either. There's another play if possible.
Maple's starting to be a threat, but yeah, we're looking at the bot side once again. Ikes comes in, it's on the Sword Art, but SMLZ should be the target. TP, it's going to be 4 members to the bottom side. There's no response. Suning just want to get out. Sword Art locked down. SMLZ, great spell shield again. It'll just be the support, but Ikes wants to take the dime. He flashes out of turret range. Here comes Sign for the charge. SMLZ, who does the kill go over to? It's Puff on the Lucian for his second.
And you know what? I liked that play from Ikes. Ikes holds onto the wall a little bit, says, all right, get your spell shield out, please. SMLZ's like, no, you're going to have to commit fully if you want to get me. They went all in, full 5 members onto the bottom lane. Really well done from Vici to just go straight for it. I mean, they recognize these are the 2 players that need an advantage on, Pup and Southwind, and they just slammed them.
It's a balancing act when you consider that Maple is 2 kills ahead and has a bounty on him. Now the bottom lane has some fight in it. Blade of the Ruin King picked up at 10 minutes in the game. And Puff is right where he needs to be. Xiao is going to push this turret too, but let's take another step back to the bottom lane.
Yeah, I want to see what Vici can do with this now because the trade-off was going to be that Rift Herald. Ordinarily, if you make that trade, you have to be cognizant of your mid lane. Not only did Jay get ganked, doesn't have his summoners, now a Rift Herald is going to be just essentially plopped in his lane. That's where the best place you should be. That means Puff and Southwind need to be in position to rotate. They can't think about that bottom lane anymore because there's still 4 strong tower. Oh, wait a second. Here we go.
They're onto Jay again, locked down with the Glacial Tomb.
Yeah.
Oh, Maple for number 3.
That was just faster than you could have imagined.
But then there's more action again. Sword Art is going to die here with Culling right onto him. SMLZ blocks it. Maybe not yet. Ignite onto Puff. He's forced to back away. Southwind onto the Boomerang Blade. Glacial Path onto Maple. He doesn't have the ulti, but he should have the kill. Flashes forward to his own undoing. Puff survives the Boomerang Blade. A 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, Boomerang Blade almost got Puff as well, and it would have been another kill for Suning. In fact, this is still good for them. Take a look. Hacker was a part of this, still has his Rift Herald, can take this tower and can actually push it into the next one.
And top turret might go down as well. Chilitza doesn't have teleport, so he can't respond. With all this turret plating, Suning, their gold lead is going to skyrocket.
I'm actually surprised that Hacker doesn't want to place it right here. He seems pretty confident that not only are they going to get this tower and push it in, that the plan is still to go mid with it. So Jay has to watch his back. He's going to have flash soon, that's great, but you need to be calling in your teammates because that's a play that's going to happen on your head again.
He's probably going to need to cleanse as well at this point.
Yeah.
Chilitza on the top side. He's still struggling here, getting pushed under turret as the Silent Will early. But you look at the bottom again. Vici Gaming want to stir trouble with the second Infernal.
This is a tough call because, yeah, sure, this is good. You don't want Suning to have a double Infernal Dragon, but by spending time here, you actually lose time in other lanes. Can he steal this?
Hacker's over the wall, blocked away by Ikes, and Infernal this time goes to Vici, more safe than the last one.
Yeah, but here was my concern. Sure, you trade Infernal Dragons, but like the mid lane turret got a lot of hurt. And you didn't give yourself the time. Oh no.
Onto Maple, he just wants the damage at this point. Glacial Tomb available again, but cleanses away. Jay ready to take the fight against a 4-1 Lysandra.
That was smart. Even though Jay didn't die, he is in range of being dove, and he is not in a position to protect his own tower. I actually think that Maple should stay in this lane and Hacker should place down his Rift. If they don't use Rift Herald for any of these plays, why do you even have it?
Yeah.
Honestly, you're being way too greedy at this point if you're not willing to just take the free tower and push.
Because you got so many turret platings down. It's before the 14-minute mark. You could have pushed for second tier.
Yes, you would have been able to get a lot of just free turret gold just based off the turret plating. Now you've lost your opening. You're just essentially, you're going to lose the gold on the turret plating because just 20 seconds time, it's going to fall off.
Vici Gaming able to push back.
They're going.
Oh. Great flash from Puff. Look at the confidence out of this AD carry. Just jumps in front of Suning's bottom lane. The Ignite is down. Sword Art, you may be a professional support, but we're the professionals now. Flash forward from Southwind, and oh baby, another two.
I want to see another replay for that. Send me 2 replays, 3 replays. The flash for Puff was sick, and Southwind just finished. He knows he has lethal on the kill for Sword Art, just goes for it. I need to see this support and AD. Like, I know they've been a duo for some time, but I want to see them play every damn game.
They look so good, and even though I can't say 2 properly, you know the bottom lane of Vici can count it properly. The Rift Herald finally being summoned mid, but remember turret plating's down. They're just looking to break open the map.
Now, with turret plating being down, that means that the tower is that much easier to take. Boom, it's already gone.
Yep.
So that's probably the reason why they were holding on to it. The only issue I have with that is that, I mean, it wasn't realistically, okay, that's a lot of damage on the second tower. In my opinion, it wasn't realistically going to go to the second tower, so the fact that it did means that it's worth it. I would have much rather have gotten just the payout for the first tower and then look for the next wave.
Well, Maple does have 4 kills anyway, so they might not be as concerned about gold at this point.
Here we go.
But Vici Gaming are. They're pushing mid. Top tower drops. Bottom dropped a while ago. Vici Gaming, their response is to get some damage down as a 5-man unit. No, okay.
Yeah, we're all good.
Was that a flash by Maple? No.
I think that was a flash.
Can you hex flash in Glacial Path?
No, you can't. That was a flash. I don't even want to talk about the play, man.
All right.
I don't want to talk about the play.
All right.
You ain't going to talk about it. I just told myself I was going to talk about it.
Maple. All right, so he still has 1 item. Ring sitting there. But it's losing stacks. Jay, even being 0-2 behind, he doesn't feel like he's that behind. He's picked up the Luden's Echo and is at a pretty even gold point here with Maple. 1 level behind, but still able to output that damage. At this point, SMLZ has to be careful along the signs of Zhao out.
I think that was, I'm just going to think back on that one because I haven't seen the interaction before. So I'd love to see the interaction for the Lissandra. I think she was holding onto her Hex Flash essentially while she was channeling her E. So, guess you can do that. I just don't see it ever. But that was really well done. I mean, all right, there we go. That was the play essentially.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Learning quickly that Maple's a force to be reckoned with.
But moving on to the next play, he held on to the mid lane wave, so the turret is protected. The next call is going to be around mid lane inner tower if you're Suning. So Suning Gaming needs to get it back in order because right now Lissandra has 4 kills to her name, has a lot of just raw DPS because of the fact that she has magic penetration in her item set. So Maple, look for mid lane inner. That would be my call. And see if you can challenge for the next blue buff that's going to be up for Vici.
Well, he's moving to the bottom lane, so he has other ideas to split at the time being. Teleport's almost up, so Zhao with his intact as well. Suning can still force this fight. SNLZ's at that 1 item point and can start clearing his waves a lot quicker. See what Hack is able to do on top.
He has that bot lane push out too, so here's the call. You can push out bot lane, round around the blue side, and maybe look for that inner tower. They might just go for a dive on inner. Just really depends on what he's doing, because that's a pretty good wave to deny as well. It's really tough for Syndra to be holding around mid, because if she sticks mid with her team, sure, they're protected, but you lose so many minions, experience on bot lane tower, and of course just being able to take the tower herself. So that 1-3-1 being set up by Suning is doing numbers.
And in through the jungle as well, they're just walking through so much. Vici's walking through so much of Suning's vision. And 4K gold lead is starting to make numbers, and another dragon to add to the mix. This time it's a Cloud. Do you get another Infernal? No, it's Ocean next.
There we go. So something, you know, take a step back. In 3 minutes, or at least in 2 minutes now, Baron is going to be coming up. Flash is there for Maple. So across the board, Suning should be prepared for a team fight. You have to call for who's going to be in position first. Already looking at SMLC is pushing out, getting vision with his team. So right now, Suning is really set up and they know what their next objective is going to be.
walking through the mid lane, clearing up those waves and getting deeper vision on towards that red side. Ike's is going to give it over to Puff, but Suning have other ideas again. The Camille's out, but Puff just needs to get the red buff, and eventually does, but they're in bad positioning. Southwind drops down the ulti, mate goes to the backside, and Xiao Ao's just in the middle of it all. Here comes Fear Beyond Death as he comes back alive. The double Fear as well. Suning taking the fight, but a double knockup might change things around. Jay forced to flash, deleted by Hacker. Chaliza is next to. It's a cleanup crew, and it's Suning doing the job.
This should be inhibitor for the team. Really well done to just go straight through, I guess, the turret members, eliminate Pup and Southwind. So when Jay did come along, he was just under threat from Hacker, who was lying in wait for him. The carries had no chance for that fight.
He couldn't escape the Kha'Zix. It was a scary moment for the mid laner of Vici Gaming, but now it's a scary moment for the team in general. 7k behind, and the base is broken with inhibitor down. Baron coming up in 35 seconds.
A lot of gold being tossed to Sivir as well. So take a look at this. Going so far deep for that red buff. And sure, you pick it up for yourself. Didn't expect Xiao Ao to be behind you. So Puff is down, Southwind follows, and just take a look at Hacker, who stayed behind the wall and immediately went for Jay afterwards. So the carries got eviscerated just for the call of trying to pick up the red buff.
Ambitious play, and Suning capitalize and punish it down. Remember, that Baron is up just about now. Another fight for Vici. Could just be the end of it all. 7k gold lead, and about an item ahead on pretty much everyone at this point. Suning have firmed up some of their mistakes in game 1 and have just about to equalize in game 2.
And the difference has been, I'd say, Sword Art and Maple. Sword Art really early on, nailing multiple two-man headbutt pulverize combos. That was really well done from him. Really taking control of the laning phase. And then Maple's early picks alongside Hacker, honestly bullying Jay this game, has really solidified the mid-game for their squad. So at this point, if they're trying to get a good team fight for themselves, the next step is that vision control around Baron. That would be the last door open for Vici Gaming, is if they can find a way to eliminate SMLZ or Hacker before the Baron setup even begins.
First, they need to get more vision around this Baron pit, getting cleared out very easily by Suning, and even towards the red side. Vici scared where they lie. This is a dangerous place to back. Southwind does not appreciate Sword Art. There's more flashes coming out. 2 members locked down. Ike's is just going to drop 2. Fear Beyond Death means that Ike's is irrelevant in this fight. And Chaliz is just like, sorry, man. I'm going to cut down some trees. SMLZ throws the delivery service. That'll be about $5. Thanks. Let's go to Baron.
All right, you're going to get money back on that one. But that was so well done from Xiao Ao of all people. Xiao Ao coming in at a flank. So Braum thought he was safe, but he didn't know the flank was already coming in there from Xiao Ao. Now that's going to be a free Baron.
Absolute free. Even smites early. He's got another one. Oh no, sorry, that was Xiao Ao. Why not? Spellbook. Vici want to contest this though, Raz.
Yeah, they're going to be in position. Take a look at Chalitza. Oh, they're going for an engage.
Straight over the wall. Jay does not live long here. It's Sword Art again. Puff is doing no damage to Xiao Ao. Chaliza is trying to help his AD carry, but Maple's here too. The Glacial Path. See you later, Puff. It's now time to fight your way out of it. Hang on. Vici Gaming have found one with the turnaround onto Maple. Baron went over as a response kill. It's not enough.
Yeah, just that one kill. There's no way to chase them back. And remember, it was just SMLZ and Hacker duoing Baron. That was an evolved Q from Hacker, so of course it's going to be so much easier to get the damage across. So let's take a look at this, because it all starts here. Headbutt pulverize on Southwind, but Southwind's like, all right, I can just bounce over to Ike's, but doesn't know that Xiao Ao's immediately behind him. Gets the Fear Beyond Death, Fear on towards Ike's, and they can just immediately follow up. Throw that pizza. I just want to see it.
Frisbee.
I guess technically you did get gold back for that one, just a little bit too much. But now, with Maple coming back online, he has teleport so he can join his team immediately. They're already pinging out what they want. They're looking past this inner tower, and they know they're going to get this inhibitor tower anyway. So
someone has to defend the mid lane, right? So they're going straight down bot. There is nothing Vici Gaming can do with Baron minions.
Vici has to draw the line at the inhibitor tower. If they lose the inhibitor tower and the inhibitor, then it's so much harder to come back in this game, especially with the Sivir scaling that she has.
Well, Chaliza's sitting mid. They're just going to give it up again, not taking the fight, giving away another inhibitor. They don't look like there's any intention to stop this. Xiao Ao is a beefy tank as well in their face. They just walk up. They're going to try and end the game.
There we go. Gotta wonder. It's going to be on Ike's. He has his Guardian Angel. So if he's going to start it on anybody, it's going to be on Sao, who's frontlining.
Southwind already at half health, but this Nexus turret has already dropped. Puff on the side.
Gotta do something.
He's the one to watch. Jay can't do anything. The Glacial Path not followed up by Maple. Xiao Ao from the right side is harassing them down, but they're just free hitting with the minions. Vici need to make a stand, and here it is finally. But Maple jumps into 3 people. Hacker to the side as well. The flash forward. Vici are fighting from their fountain as the Nexus drops back down. It's suiting the super team at work. Finally, they've found their measure as we go to Game 3.
A strong response from Suning. Not only did they fight back in the landing phase that did them in Game 1, but smart play later on around Baron and Dragons. So Vici still have it cut out for them. That was an amazing Game 1, but they still have to hold true. If they're trying to prove the point, not only are they better bottom laners, just like better players on that one, but is a smarter overall team. Game 3 needs to be proven that it wasn't just because of the comp that they had, the Jarvan, Galio, and Rakan that gave them the game.
Vici Gaming, it was the bottom lane again. And it was the bottom lane that rang true. Sword Art on this Alistar. The supports are coming up big in this series.
Yeah, Southwind was confident enough that it's like, okay, I'll pick up the Alistar on the 3rd pick in draft. And you know, if it was obviously picked up by Sword Art, I'll go with Braum. Braum is the better laner. We'll focus on our lane. And eventually, they did get the solo kill on Alistar. Like, that did come through. It just didn't go to plan because so much wrong has happened before that point. So, really, the laning phase didn't work as well as they would wanted, of course. Issue then was when they started rotating to Dragons and Barons, specifically the Baron buff, where Suning had already had mid-push because they bullied out Jay, and then had the control words around the objective, there's no way for them to touch it.
I'm glad, though, we do see our LMS superstars kind of coming up big. Yes. Maple and Sword Art both had a bit of a shaky Game 1, and even during Demacia Cup, I remember I was chatting with you and saying, I'm not sure that they're on the same wavelength with people like Xiao Ao and Hacker, and it was concerning to see.
And I think this game proved that both Hacker and Maple really had it locked down. That the 2 kills that they had on Jay, it was definitely clear that the cohesion was there in comparison to Ike's and Jay. So I think that Game 3 is going to answer a little bit more emphatic.
I'm waiting to see if Vici Gaming come up big. Let's go Game 3. We're going to have a small break, then return with the hype matchup.